Well, hello there and welcome back to the start of another video and the start of another project. It's a good one. It is a 10.2 kilowatt peak SolarEdge system. We are over 1, 2, 3, 4. We are over 6 roofs on this one, so SolarEdge is the only answer. We've also completed a heat pump on this job, and you may have seen some reels on that heat pump, and there'll be some more content in this video regarding that heat pump. But today we have started on the SolarEdge system. It is going to be an 8 kilowatt inverter, 24 ACO 460 panels and a backup interface. Now this is our garage and this is where we are going to site our SolarEdge energy banks, our 8 kilowatt inverter, and then just over my shoulder our backup gateway. Me and Mike from East Renewables, he is up here, go and give him a follow. I've already actually made a start on this when we did the supply for our heat pump, which is fed from our Proteus DB and then up here with this cable. So what we are going to have is we're going to have 10 kilowatt battery here, 10 kilowatt battery over there, and then our SolarEdge inverter up the top. We are starting to make a nice little bit of progress on this job now, as you will see. We have both of our SolarEdge energy banks mounted. They're 10 kilowatt hours each. They're actually just under the 9.7. So just under 20 kilowatt hours of storage there. Our Proteus DB. So the Proteus DBs are bidirectional RCBOs as standard, and we have also, because this also supplies our heat pump, being able to put in a B-type RCBO for that one. So that meets that one. Our AC isolator and our gem meter, and then our 8 kilowatt home hub inverter, which has got its Wi-Fi antenna and its ENET antenna. So ENET is SolarEdge's little version of its own network. What that allows it to do is the batteries can then talk to the inverter through ENET. Now, the batteries can also be wired. However, if you hardwire a SolarEdge energy bank, it becomes 9.5 kilowatt hours of storage. If you use ENET, it becomes 9.7. So what we are doing is we are always using ENET for our battery communications. After that, we have our 2 DC isolators. There is 2 strings on here, and actually this cable that is currently hanging through the garage loft hatch needs to come down in this corner in a bit of trunking or conduit and then across into one of these isolators. And then under the inverter we have our batteries. So SolarEdge batteries need to be wired in 6mm DC, and then our 2 strings which run to our isolators. This is what I have been on with. I will show you a little bit more regarding the battery connections in a little bit. However, let's go see Jay on the roof and see what Jay and Josh have been up to up there. Now this is the garage roof, and directly below here is the inverter and batteries that you've just seen. On here we are using ACO 460 panels, and on this aspect we have 6 panels going on, and as you'll see they have got it hook railed. There has been 1 or 2 broken tiles, but they have this morning been replaced, and we have used the Van der Valk Ace mounting kit, so that is all done. And then over here the boys have got their DCs out onto the roof through a ground tile and a bit of oval conduit. If you take me up and over the ridge, we will find Jason and Josh.
Hello.
And they are here on the back roof, and they've basically done the same here. But now Jay, what are you currently on with?
So what I'm on with at the moment is we've got another 4 panels going on this back roof here. We've got our DCs coming out onto the roof here. We have run our optimisers fastened on the Volcase optimiser clamps that fasten onto the rails. We've got our 4 optimisers all joined together. Cable tied the DCs up off the roof, make sure they're not laid on the tiles. And yeah, it's all ready for panelling now. We've got our entry point, our positive and our negative, and then that will go back to the inverter.
So there, like he says, that is now ready for panels. So I just need to jump up here and we need to map the optimizers. Now I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, probably also in an Instagram story or an Instagram reel, about what optimizers do and how they work. The true only optimized system from factory is SolarEdge, because on this job we have the roof that you've seen that Jason is on, the roof behind me. We then also have panels on this roof and also the other side of that roof. So it is over 6 aspects. SolarEdge is the only system that will truly work on this property. And that is all thanks to optimizers. What is an optimizer? An optimizer plugs in behind the panel, and what it can do is it can lift and lower the voltage on the SolarEdge string to the optimum voltage. Now, voltage and current are linked together. So if we have a panel that is low, the optimizer can lift that voltage and keep our string voltage at the optimum. Basically, if a panel is shaded, we don't have to worry about it. On a standard string system, a shaded panel will drag down every other panel. So, boys, you are now panels. If me, Josh and Jay are all panels, and Jay goes into shade and can only work at 50% of his output, then also me and Josh can only work at 50% of our output, dragging down the full string. For easy maths, we are all 100 watts each, from a potential 300 watts of generation down to only 150 watts of generation, because Jay can only work at 50%, Josh and myself can also only work at 50%. However, optimizers and SolarEdge negate that. Same scenario, we now just have optimizers behind us. 300 watts, perfect sunshine. This time, Josh goes into the shade and he can only work at 50% of his optimal output. What that means is he works at 50 watts, Jason and myself can continue to work at 100 watts. So we gain 250 watts of generation. That is, in a real nutshell, the difference between a SolarEdge system and a string system. Annually, it makes for a much bigger annual production number in kilowatt hours. And then when we are over different aspects, we also can generate much more on a daily annual basis. Boys, you are currently at 0 watts of output. I believe it is now panel time. What is an optimizer? Obviously we've explained how they work, but this is an optimizer. This short cable and the long cable is what link our optimizers together, and then our positive and our negative from our panels plug into these two short ones. You will see a lot of SolarEdge bodged installs from the feeding tariff days where these are just sat and laid on the roof. Now, you will see people that will take a self-tapping metal screw and screw this to the rail. However, because we use Van der Valk and now the new Van der Valk Ace mounting kit, they do make these. So these are the new optimizer clamps for optimizers on the Van der Valk Ace stuff, and they fix to the rail like this. So here is roughly behind the center of one of our panels, and these optimizer clamps push and click into place, and then a really solid fixing for us to push our optimizer up behind the clamp, and then that is held on there solidly. Means that this isn't in the water, it is there for not only a good time but a long time, and it is probably the best way of fixing them to the rails. Obviously there is people that will screw these to the rails. I'm not a fan of that. It's putting unnecessary holes in the rail, or just leave them sat like this one is currently, and that one, because they are not fixed yet, just sat on the roof. What that is allowing these to shake about on the roof and then sit in puddles of water in heavy rain. So for me, Van der Valk optimizers clips are the only answer. Also, for anyone interested, these are the S500B flavour of optimizer, so that they work with our 460 watt panels. You'll also note here it says string and module, so you can actually not get these wrong. If you couldn't tell, I am a massive SolarEdge fanboy, and I do strongly believe it is the best solar system on the market. So getting to fit it in now what is a saturated market of flashy lights and posh apps is still one of my favourite things to do. And to do it really well is just even better. So far we have made a bit of a start, and one roof is ready for panels and the other roof is ready, well, is actually completed with panels ready for its bird meshing. There's just now 4 roofs to get on with, but I'll let you have a little look around and enjoy the B-roll from it all. So now we are down here in the garage, and you will see some lovely SolarEdge energy banks behind me and an 8 kilowatt home hub inverter. Difference between the home hub inverter and the normal HD wave inverter is essentially this bottom box. It allows the building, with the use of the backup gateway, which I still have to fit, to go off grid in a power cut and keep the power on at the full size of the inverter, which in this case is 8 kilowatts. That is then coupled with 2 energy banks. Each one of these is just under 10 kilowatt hours, 9.7 kilowatt hours to be exact. So a smidge under 20 kilowatt hours of storage for this property in total. That means we should be able to run the heat pump during the day with the cheap rate electricity that we have bought during the night, coupled with the little bit of solar production we shall get from the roofs. But in the garage is the perfect place. So we are in line with PAS 63100. We are not in a habitable room. The house does already have LD3 smoke detection. We have used our Proteus DB. So these are bi-directional from standard, and they are our DB and switchgear manufacturer of choice. SCAMI isolator for the AC, generation meter, which is actually a little bit of a legacy item back to the fit tariff, but it is there anyway. And then our 2 isolators, which will isolate both strings coming down from the roof, and it will all live very nicely here in the corner of the garage. The heat pump install is now complete and has been running for a couple of weeks, and this is the tank. So it is a 300 litre Tempest stainless tank with a longer coil than normal, giving us more surface area to heat the hot water using our heat pump. In turn, gives us a better cop or scop seasonally. But yeah, lives here in the corner of the utility. It has been all lagged in Primary Pro, and the patching and bits and pieces are done. Customer just has this wall to kind of do the final bits of patching on and redecorate. And then really, if they wanted to, they could actually box it in and complete the utility room. But really, it isn't too bad to look at here in the corner of the room, with our heat pump control unit, the stuff for the Wi-Fi, and then the connector to the wireless controls and the outdoor weather stat. And then down here, all of the paperwork and instruction manuals and operation instructions of how to operate the heat pump are stored nice and local in the handy storage tray mounted to the wall. And then we also have the Valand Senso Comfort Controller. So this is essentially the customer interface of how you integrate with your heat pump. And what it shows us is current temperature, current time, air humidity for where this is in the building, and then also outdoor temperature from the outdoor weather sensor, which is currently today 22.5 degrees. On a day-to-day basis, this is what you integrate with. Completely wireless, can be wall mounted. We can actually, if it is a new build, we can get wired versions that are not battery powered. Well, here we have it then. This is the finished product of this house. And unfortunately, we haven't had a whole lot of footage from it. But as you will notice, we have our 6 panels on the garage roof solar skirted for this side of the dormer and for that side of the dormer. They are also solar skirted, and then we have another set of panels on the back of the house. They are only in bird mesh, however. So the most important thing is with that the pigeons and squirrels and other wildlife cannot get under them panels unless they are protected. Obviously the front of the house is more aesthetically pleasing, being completed in solar skirt, and it is a stunning job, if I say so myself. This house then has now a 8 kilowatt SolarEdge home hub inverter. It has 2 SolarEdge energy banks, and it also has the SolarEdge Backup Gateway, full off-grid protection. It also, completed by DMH Electrical and Renewables, has a 10 kilowatt Valand heat pump. So this is a property that, as DMH, and I'm very, very proud to say this, we have completely decarbonised. We now have electrical production from our solar PV, storage from our batteries, backup from our gateway, and heating and hot water from that Valand heat pump. How amazing is that? I think, as you will see from the drone shots that you can currently see, it has been quite a bit of work to get it all done, with the panels being over 6 roofs. However, we have got it done. We have got the front looking fantastic in solar skirt, and then the back panels completed with bird mesh. It is all on SolarEdge, so it is all optimised. Every panel can work independently of its neighbour. The whole lot is actually only on 2 strings. There we have it then. I hope you have enjoyed this video, the drone footage, and if you would like to go on your own renewables journey, be it solar PV, battery storage, heat pumps, EV chargers, underfloor heating, and even standard electrical work, then please do head down to that description, fill out that contact form, and I can get back in touch with you and take you on your own renewables journey into getting one of them products. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.